During the 14th century in Europe, jousting became extremely popular among people from all social classes, not just the nobility. However, only knights were allowed to participate in the sport. One day, Sir Ector, the lord of squires William, Roland, and What, passed away after sustaining injuries in a jousting tournament. This unfortunate event left the squires without a job and struggling to find food, as they had gone 3 days without eating. Despite the grim situation, William came up with a daring plan. Since the tournament organizers were unaware of Ector's death, he decided to impersonate his late master and continue competing in the tournament. William had always dreamt of becoming a knight and had assisted Ector in training, giving him the necessary skills to deceive others. By concealing his identity under a helmet, he believed no one would recognize the switch. Initially hesitant, Roland and What agreed to support William in his scheme. To their surprise, William emerged victorious in the tournament, winning a valuable gold feather as a prize. The three companions then sold the feather and split the earnings evenly among themselves. However, William proposed a different plan where the money would be reinvested in equipment to enhance their chances of winning more competitions in the future. Despite Roland and Watt's reservations, William insisted on pursuing their newfound strategy. Tensions rose as his friends demanded their fair share of the money back, leading to a disagreement. Eventually, through persuasion and appeal to their sense of goodwill, William managed to rally their support. The trio used the funds to purchase better gear and dedicated their time to rigorous training for the upcoming tournaments, with William honing his skills to perfection. As they journeyed towards the next competition, the trio encountered a distressed naked man on the road. It turned out to be the renowned writer Geoffrey Chaucer, who had recently been a victim of theft. William pretends to be Sir Ulrich, but Geoffrey sees through his deception and makes a proposition. If they provide him with food and clothing, he will create a fake noble title for William to use in the upcoming tournament. The trio is unsure about trusting Geoffrey, but they have no other option, so they agree to the arrangement while What warns Geoffrey of dire consequences if he double-crosses them. When they arrive in town, they are relieved to find that the fabricated noble title is accepted by the tournament organizers, prompting William to offer Geoffrey a position as his herald. As they await their turn in the tournament, William spots Lady Jocelyn in the crowd and instantly falls for her. Desiring to speak with her, he trails her through town, but she refuses to reveal her identity. William is eventually kicked out when he tries to follow Jocelyn into the church while still on horseback. Despite winning his initial match easily, William grows concerned about the condition of his armor. Unexpectedly, the local gambling authorities approach William, demanding payment for Geoffrey's debts. It is revealed that Geoffrey was never a victim of theft. Rather, he struggles with gambling addiction and faces dire consequences if his sponsor does not settle his debts. Disregarding Watt's anger, William instructs the men to release Geoffrey, pledging to settle the debts after winning the tournament. Following his victory in the sword combat division, William demonstrates his prowess once more by triumphing in the sword competition, allowing Geoffrey to bolster his image through eloquent promotion. With his victory secured, William can focus on returning to the jousting contests. He's also succeeding in that area, but his armor sustains damage, and no blacksmiths are willing to repair it without immediate payment. Even blacksmith Kate refuses, but William, aware of the prejudices against female blacksmiths, persuades her to mend his armor by subtly suggesting that the other blacksmiths doubted her capability due to her gender. Watching the jousting matches are Jocelyn and her attendant Christiana, who are approached by the champion juster Count Edhemer, who also has an interest in Jocelyn. After boasting about his troops fighting in France and his undefeated record, Edhemer educates Jocelyn on the jousting rules, emphasizing the points awarded for different hits. Their conversation is interrupted by William, who approaches Jocelyn with poetry he learned from Geoffrey to impress her. Unfortunately, Edhemer publicly humiliates him, forcing William to leave in embarrassment. Prior to the next match, Geoffrey introduces William with much fanfare, fabricating tales of his heroic exploits. Despite William's skillful performance, Edhemer belittles him to Jocelyn, criticizing his lack of style and technique, although acknowledging his fearless demeanor due to inadequate eye protection. William's opponent is injured and aware of his imminent defeat, but he refuses to concede without completing the match to maintain his honor. Feeling sympathy for him, William agrees to intentionally tie their final run. His opponent concedes, and William moves forward. Edhemer views William's act of not defeating his opponent as a sign of weakness, but Jocelyn sees it as a noble display of mercy. Later that night, Edhemer sends a message to Jocelyn claiming he will win the tournament for her, but she understands his intentions are driven by his own vanity and desire for submissive women. Jocelyn is more impressed by the fact that William is the only knight who hasn't made promises to win for her, sparking the possibility of him winning her affections. The following day, Jocelyn sends William her pashmina as a sign of good luck, allowing Christiana to reveal her name to him at last. In the final match against Adhemer, William initially gains the upper hand in points. However, Adhemer exploits William's lack of face protection and scores a decisive hit, knocking him out cold. While unconscious, William reminisces about his childhood dreams of becoming a knight, despite the skepticism of others. Encouraged by his father, John, never to give up on his aspirations, William awakens to find Adhemer holding Jocelyn's pashmina. Before returning it to her, Adhemer challenges William to seek a rematch in the future after further training. Despite the setback, William ultimately triumphs in the sword tournament, securing a significant prize that enables him to settle his debts with the gamblers and Kate. Kate mentions that the armor William has isn't tailored for him and proposes crafting a new one in exchange for a trip to Paris. William declines, ready to depart, but Christiana arrives to inform him that he must attend the banquet to match Jocelyn's chosen colors. This leads William to change his mind swiftly about leaving, and after declaring he will wear green, the group sets about their tasks. Roland will handle William's attire while Geoffrey will provide dance lessons. Unfortunately, the dance sessions are not going smoothly, so when Kate discovers them arguing, William apologizes to her and persuades her to provide better instruction. At the banquet, William gets the chance to converse with Jocelyn and share more poetry with her. Adhemer attempts to degrade him once more by hinting that he can only dance like a commoner, but William showcases his skills and seamlessly joins the dance festivities, leaving Adhemer visibly frustrated. The following day, Kate presents William with custom-fitted armor that she has even marked with her own emblem. William hesitates, concerned that the armor is too light and small, but Kate explains that she has developed a new method to reheat metal, making the armor lighter to wear while maintaining its strength. The men are skeptical, so they conduct a test. They are amazed when William is struck, but remains unfazed. A week later, William enters another tournament. Ridiculed for his undersized armor, he swiftly proves them wrong by winning his first match effortlessly. Jocelyn witnesses this, and Adhemer, also competing, backs out upon discovering his opponent is Prince Edward Incognito. Geoffrey learns of this and urges William to withdraw to avoid angering the king. However, William notices Edward's disappointment as no one dares face him, so he decides to challenge him despite the advice. William reveals his knowledge of Edward's identity between rounds, impressing the prince with his courage. William emerges victorious in the tournament, yet he feels dissatisfied for not defeating Adhemer. This leads him to snap at Jocelyn when she invites him to the banquet, causing her to storm off, thinking poorly of him. As weeks pass, William continues triumphing in tournaments far and wide but misses facing Adhemer as he is called to the Battle of Poitiers. Even amidst the war, Adhemer inquires about the tournaments, growing increasingly incensed as William continues to emerge victorious. After a month without seeing Jocelyn, William writes a letter in an attempt to win her back. Lacking eloquence, Geoffrey enhances the letter with his poetic skills and sentiments shared by their friends about their past romances. Wood is tasked with delivering the letter to Jocelyn, who is moved to tears by the heartfelt words. The next day, Wood comes back to the group with a message from Jocelyn to William. She ensures him she will travel to Paris to watch him joust and gives him a gentle kiss on the lips for good fortune. Afterwards, Geoffrey suggests that since Adhemer won't be in the tournament, they could take a risk on William winning. Meanwhile, William meets with Jocelyn at the nearby church. Sadly, Jocelyn is let down as she was hoping for more romantic gestures, but instead, William pledges to win the tournament for her, as most knights tend to do. Fed up with the situation, Jocelyn gives him an ultimatum. If he truly loves her, he must lose in her honor. Enraged by this demand, William storms out of the church, refusing to accept defeat. However, once the tournament begins, William has a change of heart and starts purposely losing. This confuses his friends, who think he is acting irrationally over a woman and are worried about their bets, but William ignores their concerns. Luckily, his determination pays off. Jocelyn finally recognizes the sincerity of his love, and during breaks in the matches, she sends Christiana to tell William he should win the tournament for her. William does exactly that, earning Geoffrey a bag of coins from their bets. Later that night, Jocelyn visits William in his tent after he skipped the banquet due to his injuries. She reveals that she has learned his true name after Christiana overheard his friends talking, but Jocelyn also promises that his background does not matter to her, and they end up spending the night together. A couple of days later, the group heads to London for the World Championship. Many of them haven't been back home in quite some time, maybe even a couple of years. But for William, it's been a whole 12 years since he last set foot in the city. He can still vividly recall that final day. He was just a young boy, and John had brought him to Ector to become his squire, choosing to let go of his son so that he could have a better future. William had worried that he would forget how to find his way back home, but John assured him that all he needed to do was follow his own footsteps. As the tournament kicks off, William parades alongside the other knights, reveling in the admiration of the crowd, especially noticing the young children cheering his name. Jocelyn, naturally, is present to watch him joust, and Edhemer has finally entered a tournament once more. He vows to defeat William mercilessly and win over Jocelyn, boasting about having already begun discussions with her father about marriage. After emerging victorious in all his matches on the first day, William decides to revisit his old stomping grounds. With the assistance of a young admirer, he locates his father, who has since lost his sight. Initially introducing himself as Ulrich and delivering a message for John from his son, William soon reveals his true identity, leading to a heartwarming reunion as John recognizes his beloved William with immense joy. After embracing and shedding tears, the father and son sit down with drinks, sharing stories without knowing that Edhemer has been shadowing William and observing them from a distance. The following day, while William prepares for the tournament, Jocelyn and Geoffrey bring troubling news. Edhemer has uncovered William's true identity and is now positioned with a group of royal guards ready to apprehend him in front of everyone. His companions urge William to flee, with Jocelyn expressing her willingness to face poverty as long as they remain together. However, William refuses to surrender his dignity and opts to remain, entering the arena with determination and his friends at his side. As expected, William is promptly arrested and thrown into jail. Edhemer takes advantage of the situation, subjecting William to physical abuse and ridicule. Subsequently, William faces the guillotine, with his friends encircling him in an attempt to shield him from an angry crowd hurling vegetables at them. The situation takes an unexpected turn when Prince Edward intervenes, commending William as a true knight for his compassion and integrity. After instructing the guards to release William, Edward reveals that historians have traced William's noble lineage, promptly knighting him on the spot and officially bestowing upon him the title of Sir William. The competition goes on, now with the prince and princess in attendance, but Jocelyn is nowhere to be seen. The ultimate showdown will feature William facing off against Edhemer, but things take a sour turn right from the start. Edhemer, a deceitful individual, uses an illegally sharpened lance to strike William on the shoulder. This grievously wounds William, making it difficult for him to grip the lance, which allows Edhemer to gain a significant advantage in points. Despite Edhemer's continuous mockery, William's spirits lift upon seeing Jocelyn and John arriving. Determined to emerge victorious at all costs, William decides to discard his armor for better mobility and requests what to fasten the lance to his arm. Just before the decisive round, Geoffrey realizes he has not given an introduction and delivers one last rousing speech to energize the crowd, emphasizing the triumph of a commoner over nobility. Faced with a point deficit, William knows he must execute a perfect unhorsing maneuver to claim victory. It is a challenging jousting technique, but fueled by determination, William charges towards Edhemer, shouting his true name as his lance strikes true, toppling Edhemer to the ground and clinching the world championship for William. As John sheds tears of joy and Jocelyn joins William in the center of the arena for a celebratory kiss, Geoffrey decides to chronicle William's journey to knighthood in his writings. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.